Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be giving a TED talk, and I'm not even 18. I mean, most people my age are still trying to figure out how to do laundry without shrinking a hoodie. And here I am, reflecting on my formative years. Wild, right? Don't worry, this isn't going to be a deep dive into philosophy. It's just me talking about childhood, aka that strange time when you think that growing up means finally being allowed to sit in the front seat of the car. My childhood was shaped by the ultimate dream team, my parents and grandparents. Together, they raised me with a focus on character, ethics, and empathy. Basically, the starter pack for being a decent human being. My grandfather was full of stories, and my grandmother ran on values stronger than Wi Fi, and my parents believed that doing the right thing mattered, even when no one was watching, especially when they were. From learning how to apologize properly to understanding how others feel, I was brought up to care, to be kind, and most importantly, to never waste food. Because that's apparently how civilizations fall and guilt is served at dinner. There are several starving kids outside, and you are rejecting the slightly burnt garlic? Shame on you. Now, not every part of my childhood was smooth. I faced a challenge early on, one that most kids don't expect until their late 30s or until they start checking for bald spots under bright bathroom light. My hair, for reasons known only to genetics and cruel irony, decided to take a little break. It was like, you know what? I'm gonna peace out really early so you handle life with breeze on your scalp. Now, I wasn't bald exactly, but compared to other kids my age, my hair density was definitely working part time. Other kids had flowing locks and thick manes, but I had strategic spacing. You could say that my hairline believed in social distancing before it was cool. Now, naturally, the teasing came with the territory. I was given nicknames like early grandpa and solar panel for a brain. At first, it stung. Trust me, those kids were creative. If only they applied the same power to math. Never mind. At first, it stung, but then I tried the usual tricks: side parts, new hairstyles, and the whole just flatten it down and act like everything's fine. Then, the kids just stopped teasing me. I acted like everything's okay. Now, I wasn't the kind of a person with 50 friends and a birthday party that looked like a music festival. I had a very small group of close friends. The kind of people who knew your weirdest habits but still wanted to hang out with you. We weren't cool, but we had commitment. We built pillow forts, exchanged the same inside jokes for years, and once spent 3 hours on arguing whether aliens would love pizza. Well, those friends taught me that loyalty, honesty, and the ability to survive group video game meltdowns are what actually matter. If there was one thing I could always count on, it was my brain being in overdrive. I had an analytical mind from a very young age. I would question everything, from why toast always lands butter side down to whether cats have an agenda. And paired with that, I had a dry sense of humor, which made all my observations just a little sharper. I wasn't the class clown, I was more the class commentator. I would stay quiet, observe the chaos, and then drop one perfectly timed line that made everyone pause and then laugh. It was like being a ninja, but instead of throwing stars, I threw sarcasm. This mix of logic and humor helped me survive awkward school presentations, weird family functions, and the trauma of group projects. Group projects? Where one person does everything, one person just leaves, and one person just adds his name at the end? Reality. So, if you would ask me what my formative years were actually about, I would say this. They were about growing into someone who could laugh at life, learn from the little things, and rock a slightly exposed scalp with style. Childhood isn't about being perfect. It's about collecting weird stories, great people, and learning how to deal with stuff. Sorry, one sarcastic comment at a time. Actually, formative years are life's way of handing you a paintbrush with absolutely no instructions and a canvas full of smudges and awkward brush strokes. It is messy, confusing, and sometimes downright embarrassing. But it's also where we learn how to create our own masterpiece out of all the chaos and hopefully frame it with confidence instead of anxiety. So, let's celebrate all those years for their awkward glory because without them, we wouldn't have been the wonderfully weird, resilient people we are today. So, always remember it's not about how much hair you have on your head, it's about how much confidence you've got underneath it. Thank you so much.